Hello, good afternoon, dear friends. I was in my last lecture, I stopped talking at a place where we were discussing about the character Beau Tibbs by Oliver Goldsmith. Now, we had just entered to the introduction of Beau Tibbs, and I would just like to mention a little bit important things about Beau Tibbs. Now, this essay has also, first of all, let me give a little bit of background about this essay. That is, this essay has been taken from the Citizens of the World, and Beau Tibbs means a showy man who's careful about his dress and appearance. And in it, he has been presented in this essay. Oliver Goldsmith presents Beau Tibbs as a foolish, poor, and an unknown man. Ever then, he pretends to be a friend of every great person. So suddenly, we just find out that Beau Tibbs has entered and he's caught hold of a friend and he's talking to him. Now, this is a description that we come to know about the physical appearance, and it's also mentioned that we cannot call Beau Tibbs an attractive man, though he is young, he has no charm in him. He is pale, thin, and sharp, and his dress is peculiar like his appearance. So his dress is very peculiarly. He is a gentleman of name, only possessing only a physical appearance of an English nobleman. So now what happens? This is a description of his physical appearance that we come to know here, that he wore a broad black ribbon in his bosom, a buckle studded with glass. I am just focusing on the text, so would you please open the text and then you will be able to understand in a much better way. His coat was trimmed and tarnished twist. He wore by his side a sword with a black hilt, and his stockings of silk, though newly washed, were grown yellow by long service. I was so much engaged with the peculiarity of his dress that I attended only to the latter part of my friend's reply, in which he complimented Mr. Tibbs on the taste of his clothes and the bloom in his countenance. So now we can just understand that what exactly was going on in the mind of the writer Oliver when he spoke about, or he describes about Mr. Tibbs. And he also says the bloom in his countenance. Bloom, is a flower blooms with happiness, and countenance here means face. Sha sha, Charles, cried the figure. No more of that if you love me. You? No, I hate flattery. On my soul, I do. And yet, to be sure, an intimacy with the great will improve one's appearance, and a course of venison will fatten. So, now what he says that he doesn't like flattery, but of course, if you are close to someone who has good appearance, definitely your importance also increases. And he says, just like the course of venison will fatten. Venison is a meat of deer. So he says the quantity of this deer will definitely fatten up. It will multiply. And yet, faith, I despise the great as much as you do. But there are many great honest fellows among them, and we must not quarrel with one half because the other wants breeding. So, what he says that we must not quarrel with the other person, and of course, he says he doesn't. Everybody, I despise the great. Despise means I don't, I dislike, I hate the great people as much as you do. But there are many honest fellow people also there, and he says we must not try to fight. With one half because other wants breeding. That is one half of the portion of the meat, because breeding here means it reflects the good manners of aristocratic upbringing. If they were all such as my Lord Muddler, one of the most good natured creatures that ever squeezed a lemon. Now, this is again imaginary characters, very rich people of the aristocratic London society. He refers, he says, most good natured creatures that ever squeeze a lemon. I mean, they could ever do such a petty, tiny work. I should myself be among the number of their admirers. I was yesterday to dine at the Duchess of Piccadilly. My lord was there. Ned, say to me, Ned, says he, I will hold gold to silver. I can tell where you were poaching last night. So again, he says that I can go hold gold to silver means I can take any bet. This is the expression. And he says that I can also make it out where you're poaching. Poaching means cooking, like especially an egg with a shell. So he says I can find it out. Poaching, my lord, says I. Faith, you have missed already, for I stayed at home and let the girls poach for me. That's why my way. I take a fine woman, as some animals do their prey, stand still and swoop they fall into my mouth. So it says, again, he's giving an example of an egg, like how what happens, it's generally goes into your mouth, you move rapidly. Swoop means move rapidly, and this is the way it is being taken away. So this is the way he's giving example of cooking of an egg with a shell by through an example of a woman, a female. So, in my next lecture, I will be continuing with this essay so that you will enjoy a lot and we will be able to focus on line by line explanation of the essay. Thank you.